Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. I'm going on the deck. Sometimes it's bright, sometimes not so bright. And I have to pick a lipstick. What do you think? What do you think? I haven't worn my orange for a while, so I guess I'll get that. Meet you outside. Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee outside. Right, Pearl? We're outside. Pearl's drinking the outside water. The outside water is the best water. The upstairs water is second best, and the downstairs water is really a way back third. Right, puppy? But the outside water, oh, the best. The best. I didn't bring my glasses out. Oh, yes, I did. They're in my pocket. They kept falling. I got to put my necklace on these glasses. They keep falling. Good morning. Doing the orange thing. So I guess a little color did eventually get on my lips yesterday from that black lip gloss. And they really didn't look black in the light of day. There we go. I just got a text from Gary telling me that the Phillies have a doubleheader today. Gary is Dennis's brother, and he keeps me posted on the Phillies so that if we have a way to get the Phillies on TV for Aura, we can do that. Doubleheader day game on a Thursday. Funny. Anyway. Good morning. It is still morning. Thank you for joining me for coffee. I do not see any blue sky, but every once in a while it feels like the sun is trying to break through, which is nice. I forgot to look. I was going to look up the name of the TV show I watched last night. It was on BritBox. It's a new one called I, John somebody. And that's the beginning of his will. And of course the story starts with him dying. At first they think it's a suicide. But it has a really interesting sort of trajectory in that the first things you see are people being interviewed. And one woman's being interviewed from prison. And the wife. And then the two oldest sons are interviewed. And, you know, it doesn't really make any sense. And then it says 2 years ago, and it shows you the night he dies. But it's really interesting because what you see in those cameos, and the cameos show up a little bit. I only watched the first 2 episodes. There's 6. Show up a little bit in the other episodes, but the main point is what happened right after his death. But when you see the people in, you know, the woman in jail and the other 2, you know, hearing them and seeing them makes you wonder, what happened? How did they end up there? You know, how did this guy end up looking the way he looks? How did she end up in jail? Anyway, pretty interesting to me. And I watched 2 episodes, I think. Might have been 3, but I think it was only 2. And there are 6. So I will be watching it again tonight. I did not knit at all yesterday. I gave my arm a break. I didn't take my knitting with me to my brother's. And I didn't take my knitting with me to visit Aura. So I didn't knit, and I didn't when I got home. So I no knitting yesterday. I gave my arm a break. And so I had a really nice day yesterday. I had a very lovely visit with my brothers and their wives. And my brother Tim, who was the host for the party, his stepson, lives in their basement, and his wife and 2 kids came, and we ended up having a very lovely party and got our business done quickly, no questions really. And then we just visited, and it was really, really nice. Really, really nice. My sister-in-law is recovering from surgery. She was declared cancer-free, and so now she just needs to recover from the surgery, and she's starting to get back to her life. She does long bike rides with a biking group, and she's been able to do that, so that's good. My other sister-in-law had both her knees replaced, one twice, or the second was just a operation, not a replacement again. But anyway, she's back up to walking, not as far as she used to, but she's walking. So everybody's on the mend but me. But I will, and I shouldn't tell you this because then you'll start nagging me, but I did find my prescription for my physical therapy, and I looked for it. I didn't just come across it casually. I went looking for it because I'm getting ready to call and make an appointment to try to get, have them take a look at my arm and my knee. Because I'm starting to feel like an old lady. And I'm not liking that. So, but it's a process. So I found my prescription and I put it in my purse so I would know where it was. So there. So yesterday was really, really nice. It was such a nice visit. Yeah. And I had a very nice visit with Aura. For some reason, when Russ and Pat were here, they got into a conversation with Aura. There's a woman who lives in Aura's hallway who always carries around a stuffed cat. She always has her stuffed animal with her. And Aura has, remarked on it. But she remarked on it like that a little bit, like she thought it was a little silly. But, she's not rude about people or say, things. But you got the impression she thought it was a little bit silly. But anyway, I guess Russ and Pat got into a conversation with her about it. And she determined she wanted a lion at that time when they were here. So they got her a lion, and I sent it to us. I took it over yesterday. And she was delighted. But when I talked to her about it on Monday, she was like, thought it was a silly thing, and why, why? And what, like she didn't remember the conversation with Russ and Pat. And she couldn't, at that moment, figure out why she would want a lion. But when I opened the package, she just hugged that thing and thought it was the best thing since sliced bread, and she really enjoyed it. So I have to remind Dennis to go put her name on it because I didn't put her name on it. Don't want to end up in other people's possession. But anyway, she really enjoyed it, and she was I was taking her to lunch. She's like, oh, put it there on the windowsill. This is in the living room. I'm like, no, I think you better bring it with you. And I put it next to her at lunch. So hopefully she kept a hold of it. And I know my mom, anything I brought her got lost. Now, we haven't had that situation with Aura that we haven't noticed anything lost. In fact, we have more than she brought. For some reason, her closet got full of, sweatshirts and sweaters and things like that. And we can't figure out how or why. So she's often wearing things I've never seen before. They're in her closet. I don't know. Now, when my mom passed away, we left her clothes there, and, they spread them around to the other residents and things. And maybe that's what's happening here, except they've only been open since September. So I don't think they've lost very many people. I don't know. Anyway, so I'll remind Dennis to take a Sharpie, put Aura's name on her lion. But we had a nice visit. She was surprised to see me. Well, she remembered that we were going to my brother's. So I said, oh, well, I had time to come and see you before we went. So I thought I'd check in, get her legs up. Her leg hurts her unless it's propped up. And so I propped her leg up. She felt better. Took her to lunch. And then came home and walked the dogs and fed the dogs. Anyway, it was a nice day. It rained. It was terrible weather, but the events were nice. But I drove, an hour and a half in the rain to get there, so that was a drag. It wasn't quite as bad weather driving home, which is nice, because we were coming home in the dark-ish. So, anyway, it was a very nice day. I have already started my work today. I stripped the 2 guest beds now. They're guest beds again. And washing the sheets because Pete and Terry are coming tomorrow. And they will make the beds for me. And the one bed is not easy to make. So I appreciate their help with that. And so if I give them clean sheets, they'll make the bed for me. So that's what I'm doing. Oh, starting to brighten up. Clouds, maybe the clouds are going to thin out and we're going to get more sun, but there's a little bit of sun on the house. Nice. So that's what I'm doing today, puttering around the house, straightening up for Pete and Terry, who are coming tomorrow. That's about it. I'm going to knit a little bit. I'm going to watch those shows. I might finish binge watching that series. John, somebody on BritBox. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes, and I want to know what happens, which is good. Very often, I get to, halfway through, and I realize I don't care what happens. I stop watching. But I do. I am intrigued. So I will watch more tonight and knit. I also watched a little bit of Top Chef. I'm in the middle of season 20. I think there are actually 23 seasons, so I have a few more, but not as many as, Meanwhile, yeah, so that's it for me. I'm feeling a little, I don't know what today. I forget how I described it to Dennis, but I'm just feeling off. I don't know why, because I had a real nice visit with my brothers, but it brings up stuff, brings up stuff. So, yeah. Got an email saying that my clear lipstick with the little gold flecks that's supposed to change my lip color was delivered 2 days ago. I'm like, it was not. Sorry, didn't get it. And I have been getting so many emails about this package. It came from China. So many emails about it. Every day I'm getting an email, at least one email from these people about the transit of this package. It didn't. And it arrived on the 27th. Did not arrive on the 27th, or you would have seen it yesterday. Well, my black stuff arrived on the 22nd, but it's not the one. It's a different one. That came from Thrive Market. So I don't know. Very weird. Yeah, that's true. That one came on the 27th, but not the one from China. That's clear. I got the black one. Different order. Not sure why I ordered both of those, but all right, I'm rambling now. I am going to go. Keep your fingers crossed that the clouds thin a little bit more. And it would be nice to have some sun for a while, because we have flowers that plants, peppers, tomatoes, trying to get some growing going. We haven't had sun for a few days, so a little bit of sunshine would go very well with what's trying to happen over here. It's supposed, I think in a week or so, it's supposed to get warm. So we shall see. But meanwhile, I'm going to go. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please stay safe and stay safe.